everyone, welcome to PharmaPulse, the new podcast by Reuters Events, where we're going to be discussing all the latest trends in the pharma industry. My name is Maria. I'm going to be your host for today, and I'm here with Gemma Malla, Business Unit Head at Angelini Pharma. So, before we get into the heart of the discussion, Gemma, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and about what you do?
So, as you know, I'm the head of digital in Angelini Pharma in both Spain and Portugal at Iberia level. And also now I have a responsibility in terms of managing a business unit of ophthalmology. It's also a P&L business responsibility within Angelini Pharma. And what we try to do is how can we leverage technologies? We as an industry, as pharma, we did not have 10, 20 years ago to solve the business challenges we have to improve people's life, right? And one of those is how we create beyond the pill services, especially in terms of DTX and digital therapeutics, to improve the outputs and the people's lives that we have by leveraging technologies that was not possible before.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Right, so let's get into the heart of the discussion, digital health. So I have a couple of questions for you. The first one is, why should digital health excite pharma? What are the opportunities we're trying to harness, and how do this translate to patient outcomes?
So it's clear that, and why it should excite us, that if we look forward into the future, and sometimes the short mindset, P&L responsibilities narrow mind us from that. But if we look forward into 5, 10 years time, there's no way we're not going to leverage on technology to provide better services to our patients. And even when you are in workshops discussing with patients about the possibility of what a digital health or a DTX solution would look like for them in their day-to-day managing their disease, it's super clear it has value for them. So there's no way we cannot move forward in that. And also, for example, for us, Angelini Pharma being a brain health company, we know for IQVIA data that 70% of DTX therapeutics already approved are around psychiatric and neurological conditions. So knowing that we as a society will have more and more mental health situation, brain health situation, it's super important we leverage on digital services to accompany and improve the quality of people's life with it, not only with drugs, but also how can we leverage on those services on the pre-treatment, in prevention, and in the adherence also of the treatment.
Yeah, that is wonderful. Definitely a really good future for pharma and digital health. Okay, my next question is, there are lots of new players competing for market share, as you might know. Big tech, startups, hospital, and insurers. What is pharma's rated strength in the digital health evolution? What do we have that we can bring to the table?
So I think we should not look at this as a who wins the competition. I think we need to look at this as an ecosystem mindset. The value it has for patients, it's so relevant that we cannot stop just because we don't have the right to win, and these other competitors doing that, like, it doesn't make sense. We need to look at this in a collaborative approach where everyone, startups and tech companies have a right to win in some aspects. We pharma have another expertise of HCP prescribers, pharmacies. Patients have another, and caregivers perspective to bring in. I think we need to change the paradigm within pharma industry that we're very endogamic, and we are afraid to collaborate because in the past we had patterns that we don't want to share with anyone. So it's different. Like, the game has changed. We need to collaborate between us for a greater impact than what we can deliver individually. We need to put egos apart and understand that we need to all set up in the table and discuss to move forward with this because of the value that it has for our patients and caregivers.
That is a really good insight. Definitely collaboration has to be key. Okay, moving on to the third question. We hear data, patient, and HCP adoption, market access, and scalability come up as challenges. In your organization, what hurdle are you most focused on overcoming to accelerate digital health?
So I do agree that mindset is key to a certain extent. And even should this move forward, think about the pharma industry in 5, 10 years' time, there are roles that will need to be redefined. Like, what is the role of a sales rep? How does he sell the DTX, or how does he train the HCP into prescribe a DTX, right? So the whole role of a sales rep might have to change. How do we support a DTX or a digital service when the patient uses it? Maybe he will have to go to the pharmacy to check how is it going. So there are a lot of structural changes that will imply a change of mindset and a change of key roles within the market. Having said that, for us, for Angelini, right now, the main challenge is have a regulatory pathway that we can pursue this in different markets. Per now, we have DIGA in Germany, we have some initial regulations in Germany, in UK, but it's not something extended across Europe. So we are now working as part of the DTX Consortium Alliance to bring forward the regulation in Spain, to have more awareness and to actually have a regulated procedure that we can launch formally DTX in Spanish market, because that's the previous step we need to do so that we can actually move forward. And we are doing that in a collaborative spirit with different pharmaceutical companies, with more than 200 startups, with different, like even business schools, in that collaboration spirit I was mentioning earlier, to move boundaries and barriers.
Really, that's a really good insight. Thank you. Lastly, digital health has the potential to positively impact patient outcomes, as we all know, but the right unmet need needs to be there. What guidance can pharma follow to fit digital health solutions to truly help patients?
I would go back to what I said initially, but because I think it's so simple, but again, for this industry, it's so hard. Collaborate. Put our egos apart. And because you can get somewhere, if you go alone, you can get there faster, but the impact you're going to have is more limited and less long-term. I think if we collaborate more cross-country, across different pharma companies, but also with the relevant stakeholders, meaning HCPs, meaning patients, meaning the ecosystems of startups we have. For example, Barcelona have more than 2,000 startups, 20% of them in health tech. They do want to move forward also with ETX, and so it's very important that we have this open mindset and ecosystem mindset to collaborate across us to really make the impact that matters and move forward these barriers in terms of regulation that are not allowing us to, for now it's regulation, but also in terms of the impact and the value for the patients, to not to try to do it alone in our siloed internal way of a company driven, but in a way with collaboration with the relevant stakeholders to really deliver the impact that patients need. So I would say collaboration and ecosystem mindset to really unlock the value for the patients.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I guess that's the key takeaway that all of you need to get, that collaboration is key. Thank you so much, Gemma, for all your insights. And thank you so much for all of you for listening. Please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast and let us know what you'd like to hear next. You can also connect with us on LinkedIn at Reuters Event Pharma or on our website at reutersevent.com/pharma. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to having you next time.
Views expressed in this podcast are those of individuals being interviewed and do not reflect any company, parent company, or affiliates they represent. Find out more on this topic at Reuters Event.